supposed to be briefing you.
That's true. It has been an uncomfortable silence waiting for mission orders.
It's
though.
okay because this is saying a lot about her, and don't worry, I'm sure it won't come up in your informal interview,
Of course not.
Sergeant Zerkova.
I'm
Your
young.
father was an aristocrat, wasn't he?
Yes. And he has
No,
paid the
no, no.
price.
Go ahead. You can finish your briefing.
Excellent. Uh, we will begin. We will begin with a simple exercise. This will not be an actual bombing run. We are going to be attacking a range outside Bogoslava. We will be enjoying some fighter bomber escort from the 217th Assault Aviation Regiment under Captain Galuvnov. But potential enemy fire is actually friendly fire, or, well, there might be some nervous Soviet anti-aircraft crews.
That red
So
part you don't read. by the way.
nothing's red here. Then again, I am colorblind.
The last line about advancing.
Okay, it's just black in my book,
So what's
or it's
important
red,
is
and I.
yeah, in the handout it's red. So what's important is if we were not at Engles, if we were at any other airfield, you would get to choose which mission you'd like to do in what order. So you could pick which advances you would like everyone to get. So, for instance, when you participate in this, you get to choose advance regard. So,
Okay.
are
Interesting.
you satisfied with your mission briefing?
I feel like our section commander just came of age for how long that took.
Oh shit! Sounds like somebody is misanthroping their way up.
Well, I'm sorry I do not have the agent experience, but I'm sure we'll. This is only a exercise. I'm sure you won't have any problems.
Yeah.
All right.
Just remember to not drink too much.
Maybe I'm a functioning alcoholic.
All right. So you take off. This is where you play Highway to the Danger Zone.
It's
Just
still
take
on
off.
repeat.
If any of the navigators would like to wayfind, it is optional, but if you would like to wayfind, you can now. I will remind you, everyone must make one wayfind and one attack move over the next 3 missions to qualify for flight status, or your character will be retired.
Okay. Tatiana will definitely wayfind her way to the mock bombing site.
Okay?
So this is a skill roll, correct?
Right. So there's 2 things you could do, and we actually have a plane or two to assign here. As the leader, you assign a Vedamaya to one of the lead aircraft. That's a wingman. So, Sergeant Ileana, you'll have to pick one of your tail number planes, and they will be your wingmate.
Okay, and what
They
about
get access to a special move called Vedamaya. If you mess up, they can make their Vedamaya move and take the consequences of your actions for you.
Oh, well, clearly an older and experienced person should be my wingman.
So you're assigning plane 22 to be your Vedamaya?
Of course.
All right, excellent. And if you're looking for that, that's under the night rules.
Yeah, I see it.
Right there. Okay. All right, so when we begin, if you would like to roll for your Vedamaya, you can.
You have to roll now.
If you want to.
Well, I mean, before the
Well, you don't roll. I mean, if it just happens.
Okay.
If you want to cover them and take their consequences for them, it will happen. Okay. Now, here's another thing that you can have. It's called a mission pool. I'm sure all of you have seen, by that I mean the players, you've seen that there are moves that prove the mission pool. Unfortunately, you have a mission pool of 0 for this mission.
Okay.
Great.
Okay?
Perfect.
I know. So, I need your Wayfinder to make the Wayfind rule for the regiment.
For everyone playing at home, mission pool is like so you can add additional die to
Yeah,
these
you
rolls.
can choose to add it before the roll.
No,
Actually, I
before
think you
or
can
after.
I
add
think
it
it's after
after.
as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, after. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, this is why I built my character because she's super good at adding to that mission pool. That's
Alright.
what she does. So.
Well, Sergeant Tatiana,
Sergeant Tatiana.
it's daytime. You've got some male fighters crowding up on you. They're all up on you like that.
Yep.
You're coming up on the field. Can you make your way there without,
Getting completely lost and flying
Yeah.
to Germany accidentally. No, we shall see right now. And I can.
fucking crush it?
Yep.
Okay. So, plane 187 starts to veer off a little bit, but then manages to keep on your wing. You have a choice there. Oh, you don't, because Sasha's in the pilot seat. Okay. All right. So, if there was a PC in the navigator spot for plane 22, they could also make an optional wayfinding rule to help join. All right. So now we begin the attack run.
Okay. So that is a roll for guts. Right?
Yep.
So do you have to get a positive result on these things in order to pass?
Well, why don't you open up your night moves?
I have it open.
You have a guts of 7. You can hit and take 2 consequences, or your Veta Maya can eat the consequences for you.
Well, let's see.
You do hit. Choose 2 consequences.
Ooh.
So let me explain them
Those
real
consequences are bad.
quick. The first one, oh yeah, of course they are. The first one is the damage to the target is not significant and it is your fault. That will almost certainly trigger an informal interview with the NKVD at the end of the episode. Well, at the end of the flight. You fly through a flak storm, which triggers enemy fire move, which is super terrible for you. A plane in your section is damaged, my choice, in which case that plane will have to be repaired before it can get back in the air. You have a reserve plane, though. And finally, you and your fellow airmen are marked. Now, if an NPC is marked, that's a death sentence for them. But if a player is marked, they can pick one of the, and there's a list. I'll pull it up real quick. It's different for each.
Yeah.
Each.
So it's
Sheet?
stuff like suffer.
Yes. It's
the
like
death of a
flashbacks or
friend
flash
other.
forwards
Yeah.
or sideways, or when you get back to the base, something like that will happen to you. But for instance, you suffer the death of a friend or lover. You know, you could get back to base and find out that person is dead. There's
All
no
right,
mark.
I'll take the flak for this one.
Okay. You take Veta Maya. How does this happen? The attack run is going down poorly. You come
So
in and save
maybe
it.
I assume here's what happens. I don't know how we're doing the attack run in a training exercise per se, but I imagine it's a malfunction of a weapon.
Okay.
And she does a hand signal. Vedamaya comes in, delivers a payload.
Okay. All right. So let's figure out exactly what's happening there.
But like, if we're gonna be doing like, it's no damage. I assume.
Yep. No. So here's how it goes now. Thor picks one of the consequences, and now you pick one of the consequences.
Okay.
I'm confident in our repair capabilities. I'm going with one of our planes is damaged, and let's just get that plane back off the ground.
Excellent. The plane that is damaged is tail number 147. Your plane. So here's what's happening. Like, friendly fire is coming in. You guys are being shot at. You get shot. Your bombs will not disengage. And fortunately, your Sergeant Sokolov, after you pop a flare, zooms in under you and drops the bombs in your place. What consequence do you take, Sergeant Sokolov?
So what happens to NPCs when they're marked?
They die.
Just straight up, like every one of the NPCs.
Yeah.
Even
when
though
an
my
NPC is
plane-
marked, it's a death sentence. They'll eventually die.
So who gets marked? Does everyone in the
You and your
flat
fellow airwomen would be the people in your plane. If you choose to take that, poor little Oksana Boykova will die at some point.
at some point, not necessarily on this flight?
Not necessarily. It's my choice.
You do a loop-de-loop and she falls out.
Yeah, we'll go with marked.
Yep. She's shot instantly in the head. Piece of shrapnel coming off of plane 147 catches her in the head, and Sergeant Oksana Boykova is dead. Which mark would you like to take for yourself?
I'm gonna take the advance.
I would suggest against that, specifically because the one that gives you an advance is a mission that you're going to have to do later. You won't be able to get it twice.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but sure.
So, Mission C at Engles Station, you participate and you advance. You must choose Harsh Lessons, which is the one that gives you an advance, right? Oh, no. Okay, you're just taking the one that's called Advance and Grow.
Yeah.
No, that
Hey,
is
as-
Harsh Lessons in the book. Sorry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
Oh,
I'm gonna
wait.
say-
No, you're good. You
You're
can
good?
choose that mark. Yes, you can choose to advance.
I'll
How
take
did
that.
you get better off of this? My bad. How did you get better from this situation?
Um.
And this
well,
can be a flashback. It doesn't necessarily have to be what's happening now in the air, although it can be.
Well, I know for a fact that if I was the navigator, and I was, leading this brigade, which I should have been, because I am the better navigator. Let's be honest here. I have the experience. I have the skill, and for some reason, everything goes my way more often than not. And I feel that's important for a navigator, being able to go by your gut and instinct. And this whole mess could have been completely avoided if we took a different route.
All right. What advance
And-
are you taking?
I am going to take. Where is it? Hawk. There we go. I'm going to take.
Harsh Lessons, the one that gives you a new move.
Yeah, harsh lessons to give me a new move.
What Hawk move would you like to take?
It's a toss-up between Miss Slotavuk, 1939.
I think that's called Raptor in the.
Yeah, it is Raptor. Yeah. Or Suka. One of those.
Gotta be a Suka.
Yeah.
Suka Blayat.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but
Russian. Don't worry. Suka means loser.
okay. You know what? Yeah, so far, I'm gonna go with Miss Raptor. I think.
Okay, you choose what is in this. So this is like the late closed beta handouts. So they changed the names of some things, so we're just gonna call it Raptor. If
Okay.
you're following on the handouts, called Miss Ferdlock's 1939. If you have sex with any of the following, you advance: senior lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, and colonel.
Yep.
That's a woman who has her eye on the fast track. All right. You can actually make an attack run, plane 22, if you would like to.
I would.
Okay. You have no Vetamaya, though, so it could go very badly for you. You will need
Well,
to
I mean,
roll-
didn't I drop a payload already?
That's part of your Vetamaya. You were covering for the other plane. You can make an actual attack run here, and I will remind you, you need to make an attack run and a wayfind move in order to graduate from flight training.
Oh, fuck it, we'll do it.
All right, you need to roll guts. This is where the 1980 soundtrack kicks in. Da 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 da. We've got you like flying in there. The plane is shaking. You've got a dead person in the back, and
Yeah.
you fucked it up horribly.
Yeah, I'm down a man, and she's hanging out the side, and the
Abort
plane's going
the
tipsy
attack.
topsy.
Sounds like a lot of excuses.
You have
Tell
a
it to the
choice.
NKVB.
You have a choice. You can either abort the attack, which will trigger an informal interview when you get back to the base, or desperately press on, tempting fate.
What's tempting fate here, dude?
That is
so
a
that's
roll.
guts.
It's guts again. You got the guts.
On a miss, you take
You
harm
got the
as a savage
power.
marked. In addition to failing, fate is a suka.
Fate
a
is
loser.
a suka.
Wow, so she's getting fucked up straight away.
Luck be a suka tonight.
I should
Uh,
clearly have gone with guts as a pilot. Seems like
that's the thing. I'm not a fucking pilot, and here's the guy putting me as a goddamn pilot.
I didn't know what you were good at, so I put
We
you
should
as a
have
pilot.
asked me or read my bio.
This
I don't
is
know
going
what
to make
know.
an amazing discussion back at the barracks the next day, assuming you aren't arrested by state security. So,
Why would I be arrested?
you have to take an informal interview if you choose the informal interview option.
I'm gonna tempt fate.
All right. You dive your plane lower and lower, trying to get those last few bombs off. Da, da,
You ready? Here we go.
You fuck up horribly. Okay. You're not gonna take any harm from this, but you are marked again. Which mark would you like to take?
Okay. I'm gonna make a friend or take a lover.
Now, again, you can either do this in a flashback or do it now.
How would I do it now?
Maybe you decided to become friends with, one of your other flight officers.
Perhaps a senior lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, or colonel.
Yeah.
Tell us the story.
So I feel like
We already know you've got the eye of Major Markova.
all right. Yeah. So let's say that
Flashback.
yeah, all right. Maybe
Set the scene.
she and I are like, have met before.
A
And that's why
violin.
she wasn't all that surprised to see me drunk when I showed up.
A dinner party on the River Volga.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like,
I'm just throwing out ideas, man. Violin.
So I imagine it was more like a training, like early training. Maybe she's
Okay.
coming in to inspect the recruits or whatever.
All right.
And who was it that asked that I said, do you have any extra belts too?
I don't remember.
It was the logistics officer. No.
That
It was in
would've been
barracks.
Sergeant Kateva.
All right. So the reason why I asked for the belts, Arthur,
Yeah.
is so that I can make my uniform more shapely.
Of course. Are
All
you
right.
taking Major Marikova as a lover?
I
Or
am.
friend. Okay. So we get this flashback where it's you and her
Yeah.
making
And
out for
you know,
the first time.
yeah. So basically, the short version of this is, despite being given a male uniform, it ended up working for me because I, belted the areas that are needed, necessary to make appropriate changes to the uniform to make it more shapely and more womanly. And, that caught the attention of the major in the right way. And I, Sasha, as a character, decided that it would be great for my advancement. And maybe that's how I made Sergeant, despite my apparent lack of actual piloting skills.
All right. So, as you bring your planes into land, Sergeant Petrovna, you've made a successful wayfind, and Sergeant Zarkova, you've made a successful attack run.
Really? That was a successful attack run?
I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7.
Okay.
Unfortunately for you, Sergeant Sokolov, you are going to have to land your plane in less than ideal circumstances because the person who's supposed to be flying is dead.
No, I'm flying.
I thought the pilot was flying.
The navigator does the actual flying. The pilot does the last-minute bombing.
Okay.
You are going to have to make a wheels down with your skill roll.
Okay.
You're putting
With
it
skill?
down. See, when you put down a less than ideal plane includes anywhere but a prepared airfield with battle damage or with injured or dead crew. And you have a dead chick in the back of your aircraft.
What plane
So
took
skill, you
damage, by
said.
the way?
22.
Uh,
No,
147 took
147.
damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can someone
Um,
mark the damage box real quick?
Yep. Well, I should be able to, but
There we go.
Cool. There we go. All right, so I'm making a skill roll, you said?
Yep.
Wow.
Did you roll a 4?
You rolled a 4.
yeah. Roll20 loves you.
Yeah, you immediately crash your plane.
And die.
You take 2 harm.
What does that mean?
Yeah, let's talk about harm. All right.
Also, I slept with a fucking lady, so what's up?
No, you have to do that in the future because you didn't get the
Okay.
advance until after. 2 harm means you're injured but still able to perform your duties. In order to remove 2 harm, let's see what's needed to remove 2 harm. Sorry, it's not all in the same section, but it's pretty hard to remove that much harm.
I think you just
You
need a
basically
day-
have to go
day
on
off.
bed rest, full
yeah,
rest.
To
Full
remove
bed rest
1
for a
harm,
day.
you have to sleep.
Basically,
2,
sit
yeah,
out
2
a
harm, you have
mission.
to skip a mission, which would be super bad for you. Okay.
So last time I try and fix someone else's fucking problems, that's for damn sure.
I don't know.
I'd like to point out that the original attack run went fine. Like, maybe we had a few hiccups, but that that catastrophe of like crashing
somebody
your
getting
plane.
killed and crashing that happened afterwards.
Yeah, that was all your.
Well, no,
Sasha.
the whole thing of me coming in was because your payload didn't drop.
No, yeah. But like you chose to make a separate attack run in and above that, which is where this entire sequence happened.
Oh, I thought that was the same attack run that I had to make.
Oh no. You went for like twosies. You dropped your payload. You're like, you know what? That looked fun. Let me do that again. And
You have
just,
to. So again, you have to make 1 wayfind and 1 attack run. And you
Yeah,
can do
well,
a few.
I mean, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it had to happen.
Yeah.
So all of you sit down with Captain Evgenia Lobodeva. Might remember as the first officer you ever met.
It's like, so yeah, and we're coming back. We have 1 damaged plane and we have 1 destroyed
Sergeant
plane.
Zarkova, sit down, please.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Zarkova, why is your plane damaged?
Unfortunately, we were unable to evade the valiant Soviet defenders on the ground with their anti-aircraft fire. They clipped us.
They clipped you, huh? I understand you got off your attack run?
Yes.
Sergeant Sokolov, there was some questions coming from Captain Galunov. Were you attempting an attack run, or were you trying to kiss one of his men?
In the air? It was an attack run.
She looks at you and says, there are not many pilot candidates that crash their planes and still graduate from this school, Sergeant.
Yes, well, I prefer to navigate, but
I
We'll leave that
suggest you speak with your commanding officer then. I'll remind you once more, Sergeant, that everyone must make an attack run and a wayfind in order to graduate from my school.
Doesn't out of character. He's done that now. I can put him on wayfinding duty, right?
He has not made does it have to be a successful? Let me read the thing.
That's what I'm. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
you had to
asking.
make a successful, which
Oh,
you did.
does
damn it.
the other thing not count?
The Vetamaya?
Or
No.
attack- Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. All right then.
The Vetamaya was you eating a consequence for him. Do any of you have anything to say about each other? Anything you'd like to share before state security gets involved?
I would
wish.
like.
I wish that. What do they call the leader of the squadron? Squad leader? Is that it? Just that?
Any section leader.
I wish that our section leader would actually have put the correct people in the right spaces.
I apologize. I was.
Well, apologize to the
No, I'm
Enough,
apologizing.
both of you.
I'm apologizing to the
I need the
commanding
two
officer.
of you to understand something. This kind of shit will not fly. If Lieutenant Svetlana was here, she would be tearing you apart. I suggest, Sergeant Sokolov, that you find the reserve aircraft to your liking, that you do not spend any time with the regimental armorers for quite some time, that one of you fix the fucking aircraft before it explodes, and that you get some rest because you look like you need a trip to the hospital, Sergeant. Now, if you want to be little tattletale little girls and telling each other to NKVD, you can. Is there anyone who would like to schedule an informal interview with the NKVD? Or perhaps snitch?
I have no desire to speak with them.
That is a good answer. How about you, Sergeant Petrovna? You've been rather quiet. You want to snitch for NKVD?
I would not wish to talk with anyone at the moment. I wish to repair the plane.
Yes.
Good.
The rest of you kind of get the feeling she's not that great at hiding her feelings at age 16. She doesn't really like NKVD. She might not be completely accepting of the fact that her father got shot just for being an aristocrat. No desire to speak with them.
Sergeant Sokolov, would you like to speak with NKVD?
What I actually want would be a stiff fucking drink.
Well then, it's a good thing that it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Go ahead, go get your drink.
Aye.
Alright. Mark down that you currently have 0 harm, and that your lead plane is repaired as a month passes.
Oh, no.
Well, lucky me.
I guess this is why this is training.
Yeah, and do we get a new plane as well? Because one of them got...
You do not. The reserve plane becomes the new plane. You're going to have to choose a new tail number, though. We'll get to that. A month has passed. It is now March 1942. We've been flying nearly relentlessly, every night for 30 straight days. We're exhausted, but the pace only quickens. The Red Army Air Force has been decimated and is slowly rebuilding. The time has come to begin tactical training and skill building to bring the regiment up to 4th Air Army standards. Sergeant Sokolov,
Yes.
when has your sexuality gotten you out of trouble?
Oh, all the time.
Can you name one?
Well, right after the crash, I suppose. The major covered for me in a way that most people probably wouldn't.
Excellent. Sergeant Zerkova, what did the Soviet state take from you?
My father, most of my family, yeah. Pretty much everything.
All right. Interesting, interesting. Sergeant Petrovna, in what ways do you dress or look like a man?
I don't think that Tatiana Petrovna has actually replaced the original uniform that she's been given. She is still using the male-issued uniform, has made no attempt at modification. In fact, it's probably better fitting than the clothes that she arrived in, being that she literally came off of a farmstead in Siberia somewhere. So, yeah, she has not made modifications to that.
All of you survived your missions, so you get to choose the Deepening Ties advancement and add a regard spot. Let's talk about regard. Pull up my regard. That's harm, marks, regard. Excellent. Regard represents a deep well of feeling that can develop between two soldiers. Regard can be positive or negative, but it is always powerful. Mechanically, you gain a +1 ongoing for any move directed at a person you have regard for. For the purposes of assigning and using regard, a special airplane can count as a person. A regard slot consists of a name and a tone. The name is the person or aircraft it's directed at. The tone is the flavor the relationship takes. The suggested tones are love, trust, admire, respect, hate, resent, pity, and fear. Others are encouraged. There's a hard limit to the amount of regard you can have at one time. 4 for most, 3 for sparrows, and 5 for pigeons. Regard always gives a +1 and doesn't stack. Once you have established regard, the tone can change over time. You are free to change a tone's slot at any time. and you can move the slot's target between sessions or as part of a reach out move. So, who are each of you regarding, and in what way?
Well, I'm going to put a regard on 22.
Really? I would have thought it'd be Major Markova, but sure. Sure.
Well, I mean,
Didn't
I
you
want to point
blow
out
up
22 exploded. So.
oh
Would
wait,
you like to
didn't
give
it?
a tail number to the new? You fiery crash landed the aircraft.
Oh, fiery
Yeah.
crash landed. Okay.
Yeah, as in
It's
like
done.
it is exploded.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, in that case, it would
You
either
50,
be
22.
it would probably be Zerkova or the Major.
You can pick the reserve aircraft, which is your new aircraft. If you'd like to give it a number. You're gonna have a month in between now and then, right? I just talked about how it was a month, so
Yeah.
maybe in that time.
So
you've
what
got
is
some super
what
tools.
is giving a regard to the Major do for me?
Anytime you make a move involving the major, you get a +1.
All right. Well, my first thought was either the plane, which is fucked.
You can choose the new plane though.
The plane,
Um,
which is fucked, or the major, which is about to be.
Oh shit.
Ba-dum-bum.
Well, let's go with the plane then.
Okay, what's the new plane's tail number?
Um, uh, 21.
21. No, that's not a good Taylor Swift song. 22 is a pretty good one though.
No, let's go with 47.
47 then.
Yeah.
All right. And you, Sergeant Petrovna?
So I was also going to choose the plane that I've been flying.
147?
Was it 147 or 187? I don't.
147. 187 is the NPC plane.
Oh, well, I'm definitely going to pick 47 then. It would be a different number.
Okay. And I get the feeling that Tatiana has been working on this plane probably more than most as she's been flying it. And it seems like every single time she fixes one thing, the plane decides to break something else. So she's going to resent plane 147. Almost as if this plane is
plane is a
purposely
suka.
trying she's purposely trying to like eat up all of her time and possibly get her killed eventually.
Cursed plane.
She resents this plane for all of the attention it demands.
Okay, Ileana.
Oh, I'm going to say the exact opposite. That I love this plane. It
Wow, you guys are all really attached to your fucking planes.
So
and not
I
people.
know.
because
Well, I
I
figured
can't
that-
think of anything better at the moment.
Okay.
So
You don't trust Tatiana with your life, being that she's been keeping your plane in the air. My
Why
God.
don't you trust her?
Can I change mine?
Yeah, why not? Go ahead.
I'm going to go with Zerkova. And I'm
Okay.
just going to
What is it about Zarkova that you like?
she's a terrible leader.
So you what her? I'm guessing it's not admire.
No, it's
Dism-
not. What is
Distrust-
is
Can you do
Not-
the opposite of those?
what's the appropriate response for someone who just like
You
you
can
know
put whatever word you want in there. It just has to be a descriptor.
I would say that
The
I don't envy her, but I wish that anyone else would have her position. So what I'm trying to think of a word for that. Yeah.
Dismiss her.
Yeah,
Dis-
I'm dismissive of her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if she's putting me in shit situations that
Okay.
give me roles that I'm not good at, that sort of thing, and I'm just like, oh,
Excellent. So when you
Yeah.
do stuff in regards to Sergeant Zarkova, get a +1.
okay.
And it also gives you some options on your reaching out, I believe. That's under the daytime moves. I think we'll probably go through the daytime moves and then take a break.
Okay.
We'll do our little daytime thing. Do we have everybody now? Everybody's picked their regard? Apparently
Yeah.
everyone loves their aircraft.
Yep.
I'm gonna start with that, and then we'll go on to other people as I get to know characters better and figure out who Ilyana would actually sort of grow attached to, because she's kind of a little bit odd one out here. She's lived a very sheltered life in a nice little mansion and learned to fly some planes and had it nice, and then then people got shot, and she's not entirely certain yet who to trust or who she likes. But her plane is but her plane is keeping her mind off of everything that's wrong. So at the moment, I feel that's the only thing that would really garner any sort of bond from her.
All right. So here's the situation. It's currently midday. You've been flying at night constantly. If you do, and I'm just going to tell you outright, if you do anything more than one action, you're going to give yourself 1 point of harm before the mission because you won't get enough sleep. And if you do a lot of actions, you're going to give yourself 2 harm. I will leave that to be subjective.
Okay.
So, here's the situation as it stands. Currently, there are some very, very dashing men in fine leather bomber jackets from the 217th that have shown up. And they're just wandering around the base. They've got the whole week off because Captain Galunov is just giving them a free ride. They have come with milk chocolate and fine American alcohols. Also, Reserve Plane 47 is damaged and needs to be fixed. The regimental armorers are busy getting all the other planes ready. Someone is going to have to put in the extra effort, or that plane is going to go up in the air and going to have some problems.
Our reserve plane wasn't it fixed in the month?
So that wasn't the one that was damaged, and this is a new situation
Oh.
I'm presenting you
No.
with as
All
a
right.
challenge to overcome.
Oh,
And
I see.
finally,
Okay.
Major Markova is on the base, overlooking all the training. So what would you guys like to do? What do you want to do?
Tatiana's with the mechanics, working on 147 and 47 apparently.
So 147 was fixed over the month.
No, yeah, I know, but like, remember I resent
Yeah, yeah,
147
you just-
Yeah.
constantly
Gonna look it
sucking up
over?
all of my attention. But
So-
I will. What 47 is going to be the primary focus of Tatiana?
So you're going to make
All
a
right.
repair roll.
I'm gonna
But
be making
before
a
that
repair roll.
happens, Arthur, here's what I want to stipulate. What would be missing on 47 since this is my plane?
I think probably the gravity feed on the oil is
Okay.
damaged, like the line there.
All right, so then here's what I would do to find.
Oh, you're going to beat the mechanic to it.
Yeah, I'm going to be the mechanic to find the part that's missing. So that, she can spend more time.
You're hoping to add something to the mission pool overall.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's flavored as me helping the
Yeah,
mechanic.
no problem.
So I'm going to act up with the military men that are in there
Okay.
and
In what way?
be sexually aggressive with their whoever's their commanding.
Captain Galunov?
Yeah,
Hmm.
So that sounds a lot more like reaching out.
would you say so?
Yeah. I mean, if you're
I
being
mean, I'm not trying to.
if you're
I'm not
trying to
trying-
form a relationship with someone or
Well, no, I'm trying to get something in exchange for sex.
that's
So I
no
think
matter how you do that, that's going to be reaching out. That's how relationships
serious?
work. Yep.
so. Acting like
so-
a hooligan is
If
what.
you're flirting or something, that's acting like a lady or a hooligan, depending on how you roleplay that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna start with the hooligan stuff. So, goddamn,
Okay.
what is reach out?
Yes.
It's just literally just a straight up D10, like no benefits or anything like that added to it. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'll try and do.
All right. Yeah. So how are you hooliganing your way up with these men?
Well, dole up.
Well, one of them's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, little sister?
and I walk up to him,
Oh,
do the,
you're the one they call Crashburn."
yes. Well, how many times have you flown with a dead navigator?
Oh, well, none of our navigators die. And one of the other guys, like, pushes forward and is like, "They say you're as hot as the sack as you are on the landing strip." And Captain Galunov is like, "Shut the fuck up. Can't you try acting like a real man in front of a woman? Please, Sergeant, I apologize for my men. They are ill-behaved because they have not had sex in some time."
It's all right. They can fuck their fists for all I care.
Is there something you need from us, Sergeant?
Yes, I hear you're a man of great rapport with certain suppliers. You see, I'm about to go out on a mission, and I'm missing things from my plane.
Oh, you are missing things, huh? You want me to do something about it?
Yeah, of course. It's not for free, obviously.
Okay, all right. You can make your hooligan roll. Now, nothing's going to come of this. This isn't going to be having sex with him, but you have established you have a relationship with Captain Galunov.
Yeah,
He is
all
open
things
to your
considered.
flirtations.
So that is luck.
And how do you actually feel about Captain Galunov?
Is he attractive?
He is a dashing everything a soldier, Soviet airman is supposed to be. He could
Right.
be the poster boy for the 217th.
Well, that's fantastic because it makes it all that much easier to sleep with someone when they're attractive.
All right, you get to choose one option.
Okay.
And those options are make someone do what you want. You could use that to force them to sleep with you. Or ensure there are no consequences for your acting up. To be clear, if you don't choose that one, there are consequences. And finally, you can add one to the mission pool. I will remind you, your objective in coming here was to get that gravity feed pump.
Out of curiosity, what's the advantage of being a misanthrope if you
Scavenge.
if the other
Scavenge, yeah.
two happen when you don't choose them?
When you scrounge.
Actually, is there a way that I can scrounge but also do it in the way that I just did it? Is that counted as the same thing?
From what?
Like if I scrounge for this part,
You could go back and try to scrounge. If you want to act up now just to sleep with him and then go back and scrounge later, you can.
I was under the impression that he was scrounging. I apologize.
He specifically wanted to act up so he could use his luck.
Gotcha.
scrounging is also luck, by the way, too. Okay, yeah, I'll do both. I think.
Okay, so what is your option for this version of acting up?
Make someone do what you want.
Okay, mark down that you have gained an advance for sleeping with a captain.
Okay.
Where do you sleep with him? We're gonna skip over that scene, but yeah, you get close to him real fast. His men are all like, "Good job, Captain! You've really nailed it." Old crash burn.
Yeah. I don't know where. Let's take a look at the map here and decide because that's important. I would imagine it would maybe even like. So where would it'd be somewhere close by? I wouldn't take him too far. So I'd imagine.
The spot.
Yeah, take him to the spot and fuck his fucking brains out. I guess.
All right, that's something you do.
Underneath the runway.
What?
Planes flying overhead. Yeah.
What advance would you like to take as a result of your hawk move, Raptor?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm getting these advances thick and fast, as it turns out. Ooh, that People's Hero sounds pretty good. Keep going up the chain.
You want to become a hero?
When you want to land in some new place, you can ask as a remote.
Oh, the
Really
11.4 meters wing tip to tip?
Yeah. You don't need to roll the wheels down.
Pretty good for someone whose nickname is Crash Burn.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with.
Now remember, under advancement, you'd have to take the advanced harsh move lessons to take a new move, which is fine. But there's also all those other options you can take.
Oh, what?
So it's on the second page.
Oh, I see. You can only take. Yeah, I see now. Deepening ties. Blah blah.
Now, just to talk about moving west. If you want to be a dick, you can move west, but you become the GM when you do it. Normally, to use that advancement, you save it for when everyone is dead or dying, the planes are all destroyed, because when you move west, you become the GM, and everyone's full healed. Anyone in prison gets out, anyone that's insane is uninsane, anyone under NKVD scrutiny, it's no longer happening. You know, if you guys are in a really bad spot and someone advances, moving west is a great option.
I'm gonna add a responsibility.
I see.
Yeah.
So you have slept with the captain,
Yeah.
and he's spoken with a number of regimental officers in your regiment, and you have been promoted to lieutenant,
So
becoming the
maybe
new section leader.
so here's how I think it works. Maybe he flavors it in such a way that I spoke to him about um, Zerkova's poor performance, thus cementing the relationship that we have with each other.
Yeah, sure.
And that, in fact, got her demoted and me promoted in her stead.
Well, she doesn't get demoted. You can't get demoted in the Soviet
Oh, okay.
army.
Well, you know what I mean. Like I'm now of similar rank, I
No,
guess.
you actually outrank her. You're
Oh, well,
literally
that's great.
You're a commissioned officer now. You're
Hell
a junior
yeah.
lieutenant.
All right, and I'm gonna add it to my skill.
How do the rest of you feel about this? That the rumors that old Crashburn slept with a man from the 217th
And got promoted
and
for it.
got promoted the next before the day was done. Got promoted.
Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Your mission's at 9. In the 7 hours, she has managed to get promoted.
But here's the other thing. I also want to scavenge or whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I need to know how they feel about it.
Oh, okay.
So Tatiana disapproves strongly, but she will hold her tongue.
Okay.
Like I mean, growing up in kind of the family life that she did, like that's she would consider that not what's the word I'm looking for, distasteful
Of course.
Yes.
behavior for a lady.
Yeah.
I'd also consider it distasteful and not great, but I'm also kind of happy to be free of the responsibility of being in charge. And I'm like, well, I'll just say I'm not going to say anything. You know, I don't think it's don't think it's proper for somebody to do that. But again, no, I'm not in charge. Excellent.
Okay.
So
Alright.
here's how I wanted
No, no,
to.
wait.
Hmm?
We're gonna take a break because it's way past break time.
Okay.
Too much sex was getting in the way. we are at a pretty good point in the story. Just to remind everyone, up next is going to be scrounging and repairing. You technically won't become a junior lieutenant until the mission begins because you don't get promoted until.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted the scrounging to happen first, because I also want to drop a fat plot bomb on people when I come back to the scrounging.
All right. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this, players. I don't know. It's been a little railroady so far, but now we're loosening things up. Hopefully you're enjoying it.
Yep, absolutely.
Folks at home, hopefully you're enjoying this as well. We will be back in about 10 minutes. I'm going to play the theme here and then, some break music, and then we're going to go dark so that I can speak with the players. So we're going to restart the call as well. If you're new to the channel, please follow, like, and subscribe, no matter what media you're on.